Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We are set up a little different. I wanted to share Nigel Farage's Vedic sidereal astrological charts. And the only way I can do that is by making myself shrink just a little bit. I don't have all the fancy software. I need to work on getting OBS or something, or having someone teach me how to use OBS rather. But let's go ahead and get into Nigel Farage's charts. Now, keep in mind that I will also be sharing some of my own intuitive thought with the astrological aspects. I have down Nigel Farage's date of birth as April 3rd, 1964. He was born at 4:30 p.m. in Farnborough, England. I hope I said that right. Automatically, he has Leo rising, fire sign, and that's usually leader material here. He also has Venus in Taurus, and that lays in his 10th house. Pretty significant. We have Sun and Mars, which sits in Pisces, and then he has Rahu in Gemini, which is in the 11th house. And then I want you to go look at his moon sign real quick. It is sitting in Sagittarius, but it's actually a Mula root, which means his moon sits at an early degree of Sagittarius. And Mula root represents uprooting, making changes, making people uncomfortable. So that's one thing I really see that stood out in his chart, is his moon in Sagittarius at a very early degree, and that puts him right at the Mula. And that's why we see Nigel Farage do the things that he does. All right. He's also running a Rahu Madasha until mid 2030. And this matters because the Rahu in the planet of populism is what Rahu represents: rebellion, outsiders, media, sudden mass movement. Keep that in mind. Sudden mass movement. So when I look at this chart, what do I think? Right off the top of my head, I'm seeing Farage is not done. His time in politics is not over just yet. And this looks like a forced reckoning, to be honest, not necessarily retirement. Because I know routers and other news medias have said that he resigned as MP to trigger by election and intends to stand again, and I definitely believe he will at least try to stand again. So we have Saturn, and this is sitting in his sidereal Pisces Sun and Mars right now, currently. And this is very classic for pressure, which he's currently under, and also a reputation test. And I believe he's under all of that now. I do see reform continues. And this is my own intuitive thought, based on the chart too, but strongly intuitive. I do see reform continues, to rise, but it becomes less. It's not all about just Nigel Farage. It's about other people, and it's taken more serious, if that makes sense. And I do see a feminine energy and a younger masculine energy. I'm not saying that they're going to become the next prime minister in 2029, but I am mentioning this because it comes in strongly. The feminine too, I'm not sure who that is. The younger masculine could possibly be a man by the name of Robert Jenrick, possibly someone that's standing underneath Nigel, but a little too early to tell, but I'm going to bring it up now. So again, Farage is the face of reform, but people, for example, like Jenrick, become strong. So again, it may not actually be this man, but I have to use him because I'm getting him strong. I am picking this name up. So, and there is a Jenrick. Well, there's a Robert Jenrick. At first, I thought I was hearing Rupert, but it's actually Robert. So I matched it up with this guy. So this name becomes strong, and also a name, Zaya Yusuf. But I'm going to say this. When I look at Zaya, he comes through more as someone who is connected to immigration, like homeland affairs, not a future prime minister, even though I could be wrong, but I don't see that. I don't feel like he's going to be the prime minister, but he will play a significant role helping out underneath the next prime minister, if that makes sense. Now, as we move into 2028, 2029, this is my prime minister prediction, right? So the next UK general election is supposed to be held no later than August 15th, 2029. And I'm hearing Kimmy. Now, I'm not saying she's not going to be the next prime minister. I don't think so. But she's coming in now. I'm hearing that. So she will have a significant role. I think she's going to be a mouthpiece for the UK. I'm hearing the word human rights, maybe something to do with human rights. So Kimmy is going to be a big factor. Even, I don't think it really matters who becomes the next prime minister. She has a lot to say. She has a lot to say. Okay, so she comes in strong. I don't know if she's going to take sides with reform or how that's going to work. I don't know, but Kimmy, I'm hearing that name over and over again. Okay, so I don't want to get thrown off. What I speak on is not factual, and I have to tell you the timelines change, but I will say this is just with caution because we talked about Andy Burnham. We know he's taking Keir Starmer's place, but what I was seeing is that Andy will gain some new followers, but again, the reform is going to be Andy's strongest threat. I don't want to speak on conservative or the other ones, restore or anything like that, because I'm not getting those. I'm not ruling those out either. I'm just letting you know this is what I'm seeing now. And another thing, too, that I was getting off of Nigel Farage's astrological chart. In 2028, like the middle part of 2028 going into 2029, his moon will be in Rahu. Okay, like it's going to sit right there in the middle. And this is extremely strong for emotion rallies. And yes, it is good for the reform, but it can also bring in a sense of being, say, unstable, and that's not good. Okay, so there's a shadow side of Rahu and there's always a good side of Rahu. But sometimes, unfortunately, depending on where Rahu sits, especially if it's near the moon and it's in Scorpio, it can be iffy. But in his case, he has his moon in Sagittarius, early degree. So that's also kind of hard because that has a shadow element to it too. So by late, say July of 2028, I do see Farage will enter Rahu Mars, and this is going to be explosive. Okay, it's going to be explosive, and there's going to be scandals around him. I know people say there's scandals around Nigel Farage now, but you just wait. I don't think the scandal part is over, and this is what might actually hurt Nigel is these scandals. There's going to be some conflict there. So if the election is moved up in 2029, I hope it not, but let's just say it's not going to be August 15th and they end up putting it into September, October, this will not go in Nigel Farage's favor. I'm not necessarily seeing them do this, but why am I bringing it up? Because of the chart. So Nigel Farage. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because 2028 mid-cycle, Farage will enter that Rahu Mars period, and as we get further out, the Rahu becomes stronger into the Mars. So there's a problem there. Let's just say they're moved into the end of September, October. It will not go in Farage's favor, unfortunately. And some people may be glad because some people don't like Nigel Farage. I am just telling you what the chart says and what I'm feeling. So the name Andy Burnham, I'm getting this. Andy Burnham will most likely take over as the next prime minister after Keir Starmer steps down. I believe he's going to be out in September. I'm saying that. I don't think Keir is going to be out in July. I think it's going to be September. I also said that Keir was there for a reason. They're wanting him to prolong as long as they can, and I do believe the reason why is because he did something with the budget where a lot of the money is not going to the people or the roads or the citizens. It's not helping the citizens. It's going into some type of military or something I read. I do believe that was the agenda all along for him to stay in there a little longer. So Andy Burnham versus reform could be a 2028, 2029 outcome there. Another thing I did say is that Farage has his moon in early degree of Sagittarius, and again we call it Mula, which represents root, and that's uprooting, making changes, making people feel uncomfortable. But there's also a shadow side again of scandals with that too. So he does not mind burning down the old order in the UK. He's a truth speaker, a truth teller, but he has the shadow side of scandals and bringing anger to the UK as well. So it's all in how you look at it. But there you have it, guys. Thank you all for listening. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.